Great test this week. Great challenge to go against this Bills team, this Bills defense at their place. So, we see this as a big challenge, big test, and, we know that's coming Sunday, so we've got to have a great Wednesday, and that's really where our focus is walk through just now and then going to practice this afternoon, just making sure we're as sharp as we can possibly be today and have the best Wednesday we possibly can, because we need it for the challenge we're going to have on Sunday. But take any questions you have.
Kirk, they've got the #1 scoring defense in the league. What are some of the attributes that make them so stout on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it's every piece that you could make mention of. They're doing well. I think it starts with a great scheme. I think they play very fast. They play hard. I think they play well as a unit. I think they have players on all three levels of defense. I think they can cover well. I think they tackle well. I think they create turnovers well. I think you can go down the line of attributes you want in a defense, and they're checking those boxes.
Kirk, obviously everyone's getting asked about this being a measuring stick game, but just how do you view it as a chance to see where this offense is at against that defense?
I think every game is a measuring stick. I think last week's a measuring stick. The week before that's a measuring stick. I think every time you step out there, you're being tested, and this week will be no different.
Does Leslie Frazier have a signature as a defensive coordinator? You've gone up against him or something? What's his brand, I guess?
I think brands evolve over time, and we haven't played Coach Frazier since 2018. He did a great job against us that day, and I think he's always had a respected defense, respected scheme, and guys who play hard and play at a high level. And he's been around football a long time, and anybody who's been around him thinks very highly of him as a person, as a coach.
Kirk, this is obviously Diggs' first game against the Vikings. How do you kind of look back on that trade, and then you guys got Jefferson with the pick, and everything that's transpired since that trade was made?
Yeah, I think it's one that's worked out for everybody involved. I think Stephon, felt that he was wanting a different opportunity, and I think his production in Buffalo would suggest that that's worked out very well for him. And it was tough to lose him, but when you're able to go get Justin, which is not easy to do. I mean, when you lose Stephon without the guarantee of replacing that, it's hard. But being able to get Justin sort of made it sting a little less, if you will, with the way Justin's played. But make no mistake about it, Stephon is an elite receiver. He's shown that here, he's shown that there, and he's doing it again this year. And it doesn't surprise me in the least, having played with him.
We talk so much about situational football, but it seems like this team is making that big play, whether it's offense or defense, when things aren't going well, when you need it. Is that just a trait of good teams that whenever you have to have an important drive or a stop on defense that you can come up and make that play?
Well, I do think that good football teams have to find a way to make a play to change the game. And you never know where it's going to come from. I think special teams, too, matters a great deal in finding the inches in this league. But it's so week to week. Just because you made a play last week doesn't mean you'll make one this week. Just because you've done it for several weeks in a row doesn't mean the next week you will. So every single week you got to go out and earn it. And you're only really as good as your last play. And I think we need to play with that kind of mindset, that kind of urgency.
Kirk, if you think back on that trade, and then getting Jefferson in there, when did you kind of first know, or when did it kind of first enter your mind that, hey, we might be able to replace Stephon with Justin and have this kind of be the same level of production we're used to?
Week 3 against the Titans, when I threw that go ball to him on third down, I underthrew it a little bit. He went up and got it. And then the rest of that Titans game, I think he showed his ability, and you kind of felt like, okay, we might have an X receiver here, and so it worked out for everybody involved. I think Stephon was looking for another opportunity, and I'm happy for him that he's been able to find a great spot there.
When a wide receiver like that wants to leave, do you take that personal as a quarterback for him wanting to go see other opportunities?
He made it pretty clear from the start that this has nothing to do with you, and we talked about it. And in pro sports, there's a level of players needing to protect themselves and look out for themselves and their careers, and I understand that, and everybody in this locker room does, and so I understood where he was coming from.
What would you say that you
appreciate about Stephon when he passes to him here for 2 years?
I mean, I don't know where to begin. There's so many. I mean, he's so twitchy, unbelievable hands, tracks the ball so well. great competitor. You know, he can help you in a variety of ways. Can run the whole route tree. Can do stuff in the run game. You know, the football's in his hands. Good things happen, and he's just dynamic. And you know, you guys have seen that just like I have over many years.
How did he make it initially clear that it wasn't about you at all? Did he reach out to you in some capacity, or when did you hear that it wasn't about you?
He told me it has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I understand. That was how it happened.
Was that like, did he call you like the day of the trade or text you?
Months before that. No, I'm talking way back. I mean, he missed a week of practice, I think, one week.
recall,
Yeah, so.
Wasn't that boycott, I mean, now it's kind of funny, but at the time, but it was his boycott that got you guys throwing the ball again, kind of, wasn't it?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I really don't understand.
Practice, I mean, and then they started, because you'd run the ball so much against Chicago that day?
Yeah, I don't remember it all. It's been so long. There's been so much football since then. But certainly, you know, I remember Adam got hurt, pulled his hamstring in Detroit, and I remember thinking, I'm so glad Stephon's still here, because if Adam had pulled his hammy and he was already on another team, we were going to be in trouble. And he really carried us for that stretch of games. We needed him to, and he made play after play. You know, Giants game, Detroit game, the Philly game. He had a touchdown. The Washington game, I remember making big plays. I mean, it was game after game after game, and that's the way he's been ever since, really.
Kirk, how much are you just enjoying this year? I mean, outwardly, we see the plane, we see on McAfee and with the Mannings, and I know that's not what it's about. Just how much enjoyment are you getting out of what you guys have been able to do the last 10 weeks?
Well, I think it's always fun to win. You know, you certainly don't do those things as much after a loss because you have self-awareness, but you know, winning allows you to do that. But we always have fun. You know, we always try to. You know, and sometimes when you're not winning, those are the times where you have to come in with a smile on your face, upbeat, still bring energy, make sure practice is still fun. I mean, that's really, I think, the test of leadership is when it's not easy to do things that you still bring energy and focus and preparation. And so it's certainly when you're winning, there's a little more wind at your back, but you really can't let it change the way you approach things and not ever get too high or too low.
When you first Darasaw's chain back from London, do you have any idea it would become such a thing for everybody on your team?
Well, the rule was no social media on planes was the rule, and I guess it was in our best interest that it got out. I guess, but you know, in terms of what I was expecting, when you're not supposed to post what's on the plane, I wasn't expecting anything. I guess so. But obviously, once it got out and the train gets on the tracks, it's hard to stop it at that point, as you can evidence by me not wearing a shirt last week. So, yep.
What's your wife's reaction to you and off the chains?
I mean, my wife knows me, so she laughs probably first of anybody. I mean, I took photos with my family after the Miami game with my white T-shirt tucked in, and she said, "Why is your T-shirt tucked in? Like, I should have been there to tell you not to do that." And so she was laughing so hard when it was, you know, then that became a thing and a Halloween costume and all that. And then, so anyway, she laughs along with everybody else.
Where does the celebration go from here?
That's the question, Andrew. I mean, that's the question is where do you take this thing? And I think that ball's in the court of everybody else on the team. But let's hope we're having that problem. Let's hope we're having that problem. He's been tremendous. The fact he's only a second-year player is incredible, considering how confident and comfortable he is in his role. He has a very difficult job going against great pass rushers every week. He's just himself. It was great to meet his dad after the game this past week. He was able to go back home essentially and play in front of a lot of family members and friends, and had another great game. So I'm so grateful. You know, another guy, when you lose a Riley Reef, you're like, man, how do we replace that? And the fact that we were able to get Christian Darrisaw, I think, is a big deal. When you can find, you know, players who can replace great players that quickly, it really helps your team, you know, not skip a beat and keep finding ways to be effective.
I know you say you don't listen to the outside noise, but the perception from some that, well, the Vikings have to prove that they're for real. You've won a bunch of close games against teams with average or losing records. I mean, do you guys feel you need to show people you are for real? I mean, you've got Buffalo coming out, Dallas after it.
I think there's a need to prove yourself every week. You really are only as good as your last play, and I never feel safe. I never feel content. I think you're always working to prove yourself and prove you belong, and you play your schedule and you know, do the absolute best you can. But you know, I've been the first one after games to say, hey, you know, we won, we can play better, and you know, I think we'll always be saying that. But it's great to be having these conversations at 7-1 rather than at 1-7. But there's no doubt that we have, you know, we're always looking to improve, and this is a great test this Sunday.